first time joining a
This is the
pageant.
first time.
Yes.
Can you tell our listeners and for those who are watching in YouTube and our podcast, tell me something about yourself. Like, how old are you? What are you doing right now? Just a little bit.
I am 24 years old, and as of the moment, I am working in a BPO industry for almost 2 years now. And fun fact about me is,
Pageant kaya, no?
yeah.
Fun fact about you. Okay, go ahead, Jam.
When I was young, I used to be a singer. I joined different singing contests, but when the puberty stage hits me so much, so I started to somehow switch my career, and I would like to try a different kind of line of business, just like the pageantry.
Good for you. So this afternoon is our topic is actually sort of a Mr. or Miss.
Miss, yeah.
And then the different varieties. Of course, when I say Mr. and then there's a Miss, I've already talked to the Miss, and you are a representation of both the Mr. and Miss actually, because
Yeah.
as a trans woman. So let us talk. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Okay, so go ahead, Lars. Let me introduce to you our Mister. Our Mister is a magna cum laude graduate from University of San Carlos, batch 2024. He is a commissioner for the community development in Junior Chamber International Cebu chapter. He is an admire model, Alaga Dexter Alases, of course, and he is considered to be the Mister of the Cebu pageantry. Why do I say that? Because he's been representing Cebu City, and and he's been winning a lot of pageants, and one of those is the Ginoong Pilipinas, and then the Mr. Universe Tourism. He was first runner-up 2024, and now he is a candidate for the upcoming Mr. International. Wow, pang international talaga, no? But of course, proud Cebuano. Please welcome with me, joining us is Mr. Lars Kent Dawson. Hi, Lars. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Hello, hello. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Wow, the voice, no? Murag maglibog ang mga tao siguro kinsay ko ani, kinsay host ani, but then the host is Miss G. So pasensyahi sa ninyo dire kay if you look at the podcast is ang akong mga guests guwapo o
Wow.
guwapa as in. So good afternoon. How does it feel to be here at the top of Cebu? It's
Wow.
actually raining, no?
Yes, yes.
Very conducive. So, how does it feel, Lars?
It feels amazing and it's really cozy since the rain is like it's the perfect ambience for a radio show, I guess. Yeah.
And how do you feel, Jam?
Right now, I'm kind of nervous because it's actually my first time like being interviewed, and I feel so ecstatic as well that interviewed in front of the, like, I can see the whole Cebu, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes, nindot ka tong audience kay the whole of Cebu,
Yeah.
technically, as in literally, gidi ay, as in. If you're nervous, I'm actually very nervous. No, not because this is my first time with the talk show. This is actually the fifth, but this is actually the first time that Jiggy, who's always with me, is ako nag-solo karon. So solo flight din ako. And this is something new for me as well. So may nang kung kabahan-kabahan mo, may nang daghan tang kabahan-kabahan ta. Again, for those of you who wants to join us this afternoon for our Miss with Miss G. Again, I'm your host, Miss G. You can actually join us through our Facebook page, Stops Media Center, in our YouTube channel, and listen to us at TMC 105.1 FM. And for those of you who wants to have a shout out, say hi to your friends, or just want to have questions for our guests and to me as well, you can text us at 0999-887-6070. All right. So let's talk about pageants. All right. Nindot ni siya nga forte because it's just like a Q&A but hybrid siya kay medyo angat laisyo siya gamay no. Kay naata on air ta.
Yes.
Everybody is listening. So again, like any other Q&A, on a Q&A na ta no. Pwede ra gyud ta magbinisaya here because we are advocating actually local and proud. So ang mga like Jiggy and me as much as possible i-tone down kay namo ang amo ang in English kay mang in English mi urge sa kestanan ba yan ay uban dili kayo makasabot og in English, and then of course we're promoting and advocating local and proud, and then ang host og ang kuan mga kuan in Inglesero Inglesera kay sanan, so whatever you are comfortable with, but then of course appeal naman gina sa tayo, especially with you Lars, international no nga in English gyud sa right that, but my first question will be, how did you start with pageant and what made you decide to join pageants? Okay, so perhaps ladies first.
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead, Jam.
It started from the organization, specifically the ALTA, which is from Barangay Talamban. So they actually asked me to join the Queen of Cebu City Pride because they see the potential in me. And at first, I was really quite hesitant because I didn't have much that confidence. And my journey towards this Queen of Cebu City Pride changes my vision, like the organization's vision. Like I am here, not just wearing a beautiful makeup with heels on, but I am here with a mission. So it really changes my vision. So I came here joining this pageant because of my advocacy, and that is somehow to end animal cruelty. Because Miss G, I actually have 3 different pets, and I wanted to speak by them. And that's the reason why I joined this competition.
So more on advocacy, and I think
Yeah.
that's what pageant mostly is all about. It's
Yeah.
pageant. It has to be with a purpose, right, Lars? Like like Jam. Okay. So with you, how did it start with you, Lars?
Well, for me, I started as a model here in Cebu with my discoverer, Mr. Dexter Alazas.
Hi,
Thank
Mommy
you.
Dex. Say hi to
Hello.
Mommy Dex.
Get well soon,
Yes,
Sir
get
Dex,
well
please.
soon. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Yeah, so he was really the one who pushed me into modeling. And funny enough, my dad actually was a model before and also a DJ.
He's also.
Yes.
Don't want to
So,
go into his footstep, ba?
maybe soon.
So maybe soon. You have the voice, actually. Okay.
I'm doing hosting actually right now
That's
as
good.
well.
That's good. Okay. Go ahead.
So yeah, and it was really Sir Dexter who was really pushing me towards breaking boundaries. Maybe I was a bit shy and quite young during that time, and when I joined my first pageant rather, Ginoong Pilipinas, he was really supportive of it. I was really unsure. I mean, being a teenager at that time, it was a lot of uncertainties, and it was after the pandemic, so just right after. So I guess that's how it started for me. And of course, being a model, pageantry here in the Philippines is quite a big thing. So
Yes.
it was more of like a natural transition for me. And well, here we are now. I'm in my third pageant.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the thing is, people say that, oh, you're just joining pageants like for fame or maybe for money. But I guess as what Miss Jam said, that we're really pushing for advocacies of ours in joining pageants. I mean, it's really a big platform. I've seen that that it creates traction. It makes our voices heard, and it really pushes issues and that maybe are rampant and personal to us specifically, which mine is specifically it's sustainability.
Oh,
When
that's
I
your advocacy. Okay.
yes, it's sustainability is a broad
Daghan siyang igo.
yeah, daghan siya gigo. It's a broad topic. So what I mean by sustainability is sustainable for the future and also sustainable for an
Yeah, dili lang
environment.
siya kanang muigo lang nga one time, that's it. It has to
Yes.
be nga sige-sige permanente. Kaya ang
Exactly.
usahay, di ba, kita, we start with a purpose, we start a project. And then kana nga project, ini kahuman ana, wala na dayon. So
Exactly.
it has to be nga magsige-sige siya
Oh.
ang imuhang purpose. Kay na magyuban mo appeal og pageant, right? And then
Yes.
iguman og dili na mo appeal, hunong sad ang ilahang advocacy.
Mao.
Manggawas lang ilang purpose o ilang advocacy
When
kung
you join.
naay pageant nga
Yes.
apilan.
Mhm.
So that's why karon gipang add-on na siya like ini kuan nga advocacy, environment, sustainability na nga word,
Yes.
which is good sa
Yes.
inyo nga kuan. So this is your third and
My
Jam
first.
is your you are a first timer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So let's focus on that. As a first timer, what are the preparation that you need kay ang iyaha lahi naman sa ning iyaha kay di naman siya first timer. So naasa na siya preparation iyaha kay di ba lain-lain man?
Yes,
Lahi kung first timer ka, lahi ang kanang naka-join na ka. Yeah. So with Jam, unsa may imong mga preparation since this is your first time joining?
It really takes a lot of preparation with Miss G, especially from myself, because at first I don't have that much confidence, and I need to build up with that with my co-candidates. And luckily, because I didn't have that hard time knowing them and getting to know with them, so that's one thing. Aside from that, is I also do a lot of trainings with my pasarela, and I would like to say thank you as well personally for giving me a one-on-one session for my Q&A, Miss G.
You're very welcome.
I really appreciate that. And yes, like almost every day I did training because I didn't really know how to walk, and that's something that I need to really work on with.
Yeah,
And-
especially if kanang wala ka maanad, no?
Yeah.
Like the pasarela. And then, mo giingon Lars, ganiha nga, you put in really a lot of effort, especially first-timer ka. So, daghang adjustment, okay?
First time ako nagpasarela, like matumbad siya ko per me, Miss G, like
Especially with the heels, no?
Yeah. And I really need to have like a 5 inch heels ka para at least taas ko tanawon sa stage
Oh,
ba. 'Cause di
creating that
makadayon lang
illusion,
nakataas.
yeah.
Yes.
Mo na diha ang preparation. So, struggle good sa imuha.
Super struggle
Even
siya.
with the Q&A, no, kay di ba you are a BPO, yeah, you're working as a BPO, but still it's different when you answer, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then aside from that, aside from the pasarela and the Q&A, what else are you ang imuhang mga gipang prep?
Aside from that is I just wanted to be honest, like for like budgeting, because it really takes a lot of money, chud. So I thought that joining a pageant is like one way lang siya, like lahos na kasalang. Di mo na, it really takes a lot of events, and it really takes a lot of money, a lot of effort with a lot of people. So I'm just being lucky that there's a lot of people who tried to help me, like especially like Pablo. Those are my koanjo, the backbone of this koan
Sa imuhang
pageantry. Like
pag-appeal.
every time I
Yes.
always ask them, like, can you please come with me sa kanina event? Like, ako ang makeup artist, like si Nala, silang Bunjo. Kay, they're always available, Jude, every time I ask them. So, I'm just being lucky na naan sila because I couldn't make it without them.
Yes, of course. Thank you to all your supporters. So,
Yes.
kani karon kang Lars. So, si Lars is, of course, mayroon no, first-timer, big struggle. But even if you're joining for like second, third time, there's still a struggle because you need to prep. And then with you, Manggod Lars, it's different. Kay di ba, mostly national, international. So lahi ra gyud siya. And for those of you who know, who doesn't know, ang kaning ato ang Miss, this Local and Proud, we're supporting Local and Proud. And then this is not just about national. This is not just kay makarkargado tagaan ang national man gyud, no. We are also kanang mga sityo, ang kanang mga barangay. So any kind of pageants kay ang ato ang Cebu, beloved Cebu, we're very well known sa pageant industry. So going back to you, Lars, ang kaning imuha is mas bisan pati no og third na mas nagkinahanglan pa gyud og mas dako nga preparasyon. And what have you been doing with your preparation? Tell us about
yes, definitely, Miss G. Going back to what you said, that being from Cebu, there's really a big pressure on my shoulders as we are always in Manila. We are really known for being a powerhouse, and of our recent title being the creative city of design. So it really takes a lot of guts to represent or to be even known that you're from Cebu. So for me, my pressures and my preparations this time around is really more on mental for me this time. I think I got the hang of all because in male pageantry, it's more different. It's really, I wouldn't want to say superficial, but being fit and physically attractive
For the
is
lack of the better word, right?
yeah,
So
yeah. It's really a huge part of male pageantry. I mean, it's also in female pageantry, but you could always like, because as men we can't really dress too much. We can't wear glitz and fancy gowns and
yes.
makeup as
Oo.
much as the women. So I think that's a really big pressure as well for us. But for me personally, it's I always try to set up myself that whatever happens I mean, pageantry nowadays, I think there's a trend that people wanted to really prolong the pageants like months and months. Well, I'm grateful for that and for all the sponsors and stuff, but it could really take a toll aside from financially, as what Miss Jam said. It could really take a toll mentally. So I think that's the thing I'm preparing most.
Yeah. So you've talked about preparing it mentally, and you talk about kasi syempre no, naiuban, you cannot please everybody.
Exactly.
There will, if there are supporters, there are cheerers, there will also be bashers. There's always that. So my question is, how do you handle those the negativity in your life? Included na ang mga bashers. And then negativity in our life also includes mga problema nato, which also includes financial. So kani siya mo naman ni siya sa criteria nga makapa dili sa depress, pero it affects our mental wellness usahay kay
Exactly.
maghuna-huna ka sa gastuon, ni maghuna-huna ka sa pressure sa mga tao kay dako kay sila og kanang expectation, and then maghuna-huna ka sa imuhang kanang bashers pagyud add-on pagyud kay naay kanang grabe sa kayo mo dagdaot inana. So how do you do this? Let's start with Jam.
For me personally, I got some bashers when it comes to my body figure because I don't have that like the body that fits for the pageantry, I guess. But for me, I didn't take that much because it will really me as a person, I'm actually an overthinker. So every time they will tell me about my body, I don't really mind at all because it would really affect me as a person. So I always think those positive side, like those people who tries to support me, like even sending messages like that can uplift my my journey.
And
More
even
akong
kanang
i-entertain.
imong, mao na siya kanang take away all the negativity.
Yes.
And then you said you don't your body kanang dili fit for the pageant. So perhaps kana siguro na mindset you have to change that one, Jam,
Actually.
because most of the makakuan sa to sa atong struggle. You have to also think that everyone is unique ba nga. Lain-lain tatanag form kay kung pareha patatanan wala na. Puro na clone di ba? So it's up to you ug unsaon na nimo pagkakuan. I've been telling you this.
Yeah.
And then most of, because I do per dev Lars,
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Lars,
Personal
so
development.
I always tell my trainees and my girls and nga as much as possible be your unique self, and whatever you have, whatever flaws that you have, you embrace kana inyong mga flaws and turn it into something positive. That's your body, that's uniquely you, so you have to be proud of it. And that's what I always tell them. Mo na siya.
Thank you so much, Ms. Jean.
Yes, and you're very pretty and you're very beautiful. So you know what? Kana, mora gid na yan, laban lang, you know? Okay, with you, Lars, how do you go about it?
Well, for me, bashing it's quite a big part of, especially national pageants with a big platform that it comes with. Comes also the bashing, but I guess for me,
Mas grabing bashing kay international good yun, di ba? Oo,
yeah.
Okay.
I think I used to really overthink the bashing before in my previous international pageant stint. It really got me down in the middle of the pageant, and that's the worst thing you could possibly do to yourself. So I think I've learned from that, learned from your previous mistakes, and from that experience that it's really important to detach yourself from social media or any online platforms as much as possible when you're competing mismo na. Kasi I think that's what creates noise and unnecessary noise during the pageant. So it keeps me level-headed. So what I do is when I'm on the pageant, I turn off all my social media or be in a social media detox and maybe have someone do the necessary postings for me. because it really affects you mentally and it affects your performance after. Yeah.
That's actually very true.
Yeah.
Kay moment nag-assign siya glain nga kanang makadu sa iyahang kanang posting kay di ba part man sad na sa inyo ha
Yes.
nga to promote it so mag-post mo but then syempre mag-open sa atong social media na yung mga messages makakita ka and then it's you can't help it usay sa mo tanaw ka and then ma-feel nimo ang negativity so might as well sakto na imong giingon gid Lars a detox from the social media if you need that para ma-focus jud ka because ang bigger thing is representing it well di ba
Yes.
ang ato ang country kumbaga or ato ang sitio or ang ato ang barangay so that's actually ang pinaka-importante yes ang atong goal is ang crown right but sometimes ang along the journey is also looking out for yourself because you are not just walking on stage nga ikaw ra di ba? Once you go out, you are representing the whole of sa imuha Lars, it's Philippines and for you, it's Barangay Talamban. Right? So, nag-mention ka ganiha Lars nga different ang Mr. Because mas more on sa kanang sa physique, sa ingon ana. Okay. So, nahisgutan naman gini nato ang the difference between that. Kaya ang atong topic karon is Mr. o Miss. So it's we are tackling on the difference between a Mr. and a Miss. I can answer or vouch for the Miss, but then the Misters, of course, that's si Lars, and then of course si Jam is both for the Mr. Miss because trans woman.
Yes.
Okay. So, ari na sa kusugod ni Lars. Aside from the physique type, why do you, well, aside from the fact that it's men and women, okay, or man and transgender, what specifically on the mental side, nga mga nung different man ang pag-preparation or ang affect or ang Mr. as opposed to the Miss or the Mr. Miss?
Well, it's nice that you bring this up actually, Miss G, because I think the biggest thing that is probably different in Mr. and Miss pageants, it's really the stereotype that comes with male pageantry. It's really been an advocacy of mine as well to really push boundaries and to destroy or maybe water down this stereotype. I mean, it does happen. I know, but like I think it's nice that we can. I mean, speaking of the stereotype, like male pageants are really like an avenue for all the sexual working things.
Inclusivity.
Yes, yes. But like, what I mean is more of like it's I don't want to say this on air, but it's like kanang mga callboy or ana gani. It has a bad connotation.
Exactly.
Yeah, male pageants.
Same thing with the Miss actually, but mas karon mas
yes.
dungog.
Yes, it's more prevalent in male pageantry, but at least now I think male pageants are really pushing for more classy pageants, not as vulgar and as sexy. But I mean, sensual. It's a show after all. I get that, but I think I'm really pushing that. Us in male pageants, we could also speak. We have advocacies. We are pushing for our advocacies, and it's not just about the physique, about the physicality and the sexual. So I think that's one of the biggest difference between Mr. and Miss pageants.
Kay mas ni usbong manggudron ang Mr. Pod. So murag mao na siya kay pag start off sad sa mga Miss, we are being stereotyped like
yes.
that also.
Yes.
Nga they see us as an object nga mo na siya and then it is a platform for those na naay mga uban nga na mag-alirong kay diha mangita ang mga kanang mga dato mga kan sa una
to increase your value.
To increase your value kumbaga, which is mo na siya we've been as women mo na siya among gi-fight for. Hence why the woman empowerment movement mo diha na ni Saka because we want to break loose from that stereotype.
Exactly.
But even with that one, we are also still struggling. So sa inyo ha mas kuan karon because kamo rising manggod ang kanang sa Mr.
Exactly,
nga
exactly.
pageant because ang pageant before pang babae raman gyud kargado. So perhaps that one. So let's look at right now ang sa inyo hasang venue Jam, which is the we are actually celebrating Pride Month also,
Yes.
no? Yeah, for June.
Happy Pride.
Na flag nindot kay flag sa ubos sa Pride flag dito sa ubos sa tops and then anyway sa inyo hasad is this existing kaning mga ingon ani basad, and then is there still a stereotype when it comes to sa inyuhang pageant, and then unsa may difference between ang sa amua nga miss inyuhang trans women kumbaga?
Just to be honest, Miss G, that I cannot really answer because it's my first time niya. Wala pa ko kawakan sa uban like if unsa jay stereotype. But for me, when they say beauty pageant, because they're always looking for like a beautiful body with a beautiful face. Because at the end of the day, it's a beauty pageant. But regarding with like the stereotypes, if unsa lang gina require kay nag-observe pa jud ko as my first time.
Next, sige.
Oo.
But then, of course, along the way, makadungog majug ka, di ba? Na ay mga
Mostly,
experience
ako
from
madugan is,
other nga mga kuan. And then, what are those nga imuha nga, ikaw mismo makadungog ka nga, unsay mga struggles ninyo, mga trans women for this?
Among struggle sa mua like LGBT community is like we always tend to promote equality and I think sa mua sa side sa mga trans women because naman ko yung mga trans women kana they tend to join woman pageantry
Yes.
like woman na category which I don't really agree with.
Okay.
Because that's something na they have their own spot and we also have our own spot. So trans women are still women, but we have our own celebration. We have our own spot, and that's for the transgender na category, not with the woman category.
Kana nga na-mention na nimo siya kay mo man na siya one of those nga mga kanang kumbaga lalis-lalis ginagmay ba.
Actually.
So I want to know sa side sa man, sa lalaki, are you amenable to what Jam said nga dapat ang mga trans women, your view as a man, okay, bitahagin na tayo laki, no? Ana, no? Kaya at least ba, what she was saying is sakto ba ang iyahang kanang thoughts nga dapat lahi ang miss, lahi sa jud ang trans woman kay sa nga different ang platforms. Are you amenable to this?
Yes, I would actually agree with her statements because for me personally, if we mix the trans women and the women, I think the trans community loses an avenue for them to shine even brighter. Because if parang murag gisiksika nila ilang self sa women, how do we celebrate the trans community without them being given a platform, a very prestigious pageant like let's say Miss Universe? How should we create an avenue for them if parang they just want to fit themselves into a different box or mold, yeah.
Kumbaga. So murabag ka ng you're a trans woman, you celebrate it, and then you do something for sa imuha to fight for sa inyuhang movement, and the same thing with the woman as well. Though naatay ang same platform ta nga as much as possible inclusivity, equity, but then shine where your platform will shine mostly. Kay mo man gud na usually good ang kanang kwan ba nga na ay mga trans women nga mas mura sila ma-offended pod nga nung dili sila paapilon nga woman man gid kuno sila. Murag inaana ba? So mao na siya nga ako I want to know sa inyuhang side you being a trans woman, and then of course sa view sad sa mga lalaki how you see it. Kay yes, we are all fighting for equity. We're fighting, eventually equity will become equality if given such opportunity. But at the same time, kana bang lain-laino na to atong platform, but help each other up, lift each other up. Yan, Ana. This is actually a very good nga kanang trinity, no? Sa Miss na platform, sa Queen na platform, which is the Mr. Miss, and the Mr. nga
Yes.
platform. All right? Okay. So let's move on with ato ang next question. So, murag kuan na gamay, no? Kay ni murag ni sud na ang lisod niya. Kuan.
Q&A portion.
Q&A portion. But this is a good practice for you guys because eventually, mo na siya, ang Q&A man yun ang pinakakuan. So let's talk about pageants. Ang pinakakuan yun na pageant is, mo yun siya na production number, introduction, and then of course, the swimwear, competition, and then the evening gown competition. And then of course ang kaning ato ang introduction production, mo ni siya ang murag first impression. It's all about your personality with the dancing, how you walk, how you introduce yourself. This is where the personality comes in, the who you are. Kumbaga, in sa imuhang pag-introduce mo kagalingon. Now the swimwear, mostly ingon sila, it's about how confident you are. It's a confidence in your body. But there are a lot of people who thinks that ang kaning swimwear should not be part na, because it will objectify the candidates. So mora niya akong pangutana. Are you amenable nga tangtangon ang swimwear, or should it stay, and why? Di ba? And ladies first, Jam. Okay. Wala may sayop or sakto ni ato. It's our opinion. It's ano. So, mag-istoryahay ta. We're just having a conversation. We're just having this talk. It's all about opinion. We might disagree to agree, but it's all about communication. And for those of us who wants to join in, kanang mag-shout out diha, gusto magpa-shout out, please do tune in to TMC 105.1 FM. And of course, sa atong Facebook and YouTube sa Tops Media Center. And for your questions and mga hi-hellos inyo diha, you can text us at 0999-887-6070. Okay, so go ahead, Jam.
For me at Miss G is dili ko agree na tantangon siya, because it's actually a tradition when it comes to pageantry. We've been used and we have been known na pageantry, it really includes like swimsuit competition. And I think for me is tantangon lang gura to atong mindset, like for example na when it comes to swimsuit kay it doesn't really require a body, like it should be physically fit. It's something to do with the confidence itself, like how the person deliver her or himself on the stage. Yes, more na kung ikuan like
Kanang more magud siya mo kuan siya sa confidence mo na
yes.
mo enhance siya. And then perhaps more on ang kanang siguro ang tao ba tangtangon na siya bitaw nga kanang huna-huna nga i-objectify nimo nga it connotes sex just because of that one, which probably what Lars was getting into before, di ba? Okay. So mo na siya imuha, Jam. How about you, Lars?
Yes, I definitely agree with what Miss Jam said. And for me, I don't. Honestly, swimsuit is my favorite portion of the pageant. Yeah.
Yes.
Not because I'm confident with my body or that. It's just the energy that the people you receive from the people. It's really, it gives you a high and adrenaline, and it's really one of the highlights, especially in male pageantry. I mean, yeah, but well, I think maybe what we can do to maybe lessen the objectifying of people in that space is really to make the swimwear more appropriate for swimming actually, and not for showing things.
Point nga kanang mo mamuguni nakita nato ba nga mo sa ni masud sa mga tao, and then there are we have to accept the fact that our country is we are a mostly or generally Catholic. So with the swimsuit mo follow man good, it connotes sexual promiscuity. So ang perhaps usasad ana nga reason is because nagkadugay ang pageant, nagkagamay ang swimwear. Di ba?
Yes.
So, mo ang sunod ani kaha nga kanang kuan mga bagong tubo, murag unsa naman na band-aid esika o sa kanang tagsa na lang ba nga kanang magkatawa ka usay, because when I see people like looking at the swimwear, yeah, especially with the cell phone, ang unahon gidayon oy nga kanang inig ana sa inig push nimo sa picture kay zoom. Kay tan-awon ang
Exactly.
kanang kuan, you know, and then kanang I think you are right. It goes back to kana diha nga atong i-change ang mindset. Nga kanang it is a swimwear, we're showcasing also our designers, di ba? And then what else, Lars? What do you think? Jam, what do you think aside from the fact nga so ang ako ang design, mindset, what else do you think ang ato ang pwede mabuhat ana nga kanang para naamang good gihapon siya kuan that creates the double standard actually and the stereotyping actually kanang because of that one ari man gyud na masangit sa swimwear
Yeah.
kay ang swimwear man gyud mo kuan it is the hype, it is the high because you know, but for most of us like there are some who look at it as an art form, how you pose ang imuhang kuan nga bading fit kay siya yung saon niya pag angle the confidence of a person, and then both of you said and agrees nga dili siya kanang kung it's there aside from the fact nga it's tradition pa na siya. So how do you think unsa may other ways pa aside from the design, aside from sa mindset sa mga tao nga dili siya ma-connote as something with sexual promiscuity?
For me, Miss G, it has something to do with how you. I mean, it depends on your perspective. Sad, like for example, na, kanang it depends on how you think. Like if you're trying to use that for example, like to seduce some, especially the judges, kay, for sure, naman should na. So
how do you seduce a judge publicly ba? Kaya klaro kaysa na dihaw na. Nasa bit tayong mga posing or poses nga very provocative.
Provocative. Yes, that's the word.
So mo
yeah.
na siya nga kanang usasad siguro na siya, not just the mindset, but unsaon man na imong mindset nga nasa imong atubangan, very provocative na kayo siya sa tanan. Mindset pa kakaana, especially if you're a man, yan na diha ang babae or other way around, di ba? So, you know, how would you go about it?
And I think it's your choice as well to wear what you want to wear, as long as na dili ka siya bastusan tan-awon for me personally. So it's better to choose a designer that would really know nga kanang dili kay siya lain tan-awon in stage.
Perhaps ang dapat the design of the swimwear is kanang katong giingon ni Mular sakto gito siya nga kung kay swimwear siya dapat kanang may use nimo siya
For swimming.
for swimming.
Yeah.
Namang uban good niya it's just for posing, it's just for kanang inana niya. Umuadto ka dito, my goodness, makaligo baka kog dagat ani. Nga inig basa pa lang gani wa nakita na tanan kana bitang ingon ana. So any addition on this, Lars, aside from the ones that you've said, the mindset, design, and then sa pag showcase sa malawas nimo?
Yes, Miss G. I just want to touch back on the being provocative that you mentioned a while ago. I think it's also within the candidate's responsibility or decorum, if you would say, na we really need to, as we are pushing for our advocacies, but really, would you really act like that to, I mean, how would people take you seriously if you really perform that way, or you want to put yourself out there in a way that is not amendable to the things that you stand for? Of course, you will be objectified. Yeah, so it's really up to the candidate as well.
You talk about shared responsibility.
Yeah.
Okay. Sayon kay nato pamalandungon, no? Sayon kita kanang mosulti ba nga is our social responsibility. It is a shared responsibility. It is a matter of acceptance. But ang problema is we don't use it. We don't do it sometimes.
I would like to
Kita
ask
mismo.
with Lars.
Oh, sige, okay.
Since you have a handlerman, right? Like, what if, like, kanang, if naka imuhang own design, and what if your handler won't agree? Because it's kind of more conservative ra kay siya way of, like, dress, ano.
Well, I think it also depends with the relationship between you and your handler. You can always talk it out.
The
maybe.
trust and
Yeah.
the sa inyo ha.
Yeah, well, for me personally, my handlers, my manager, Sir Dexter Alazas, he really gives me free reign to what I want to wear, and he's very supportive. So I think I'm grateful for that as well. So I think it's really up to you to find the perfect handler who aligns with your vision and who really wants you to grow and be your authentic self.
And it's all about kanang you, Jam. So it's if you're not comfortable with it, you know, you have to be open and honest because you're the one who's going out on stage. So it's just like with the heels. You have to choose something that you're comfortable with. Kay mo gamit ka just because nya di ka comfortable ang katakilpo lang gyud nimo ana. I mean it's the same thing with sa ilaha ni Lars with the male pageant. If it's something that they're not comfortable with, sometimes man good naabitay ka ng that relationship nga not just a handler and a kanang yang kandidata, like any other relationship nga kanabang there's a dominant person and then there's that person nga muyas lang. That's not a relationship for me. A relationship is always a symbiotic relationship. It's a give and take relationship, and then you have to talk it out. You have to be you have to respect each other. If it's something you're not comfortable with, so mo atras gamay ang usa, o sige. And then but mo na siya mas nindot maguni, okay, then use together. You communicate and you collaborate and you create something nga kamunduha ma-benefited mo. Okay, yes, it's a pageant industry. We have a lot. Naagin mga kanang, of course, mga handlers nato nga kanang ingon ana nya. Ikaw mismo because kandidata ka, usay di ka mo tingog. That's one of those nga problema. And then kapoy kikastanan bisag asa lang ka bitbiton, bisag asa ka bunluton, ingon ana. And then sometimes we arrive in the situations like mas dako pa ta gasto kitay kandidata. And then kanang walay support, di ba? And that it's the drama between the chaos that is being created from within between you and the person, not just with the handlers, we call it managers, or we call it, so kana sad na siya, it's so mas maayo gyud mo pili ta og kanang taong muda nato nga kahibaw ta na safe ka in everything that you do. And we have to be really very careful with the people we trust and the people we open up to, not just with a pageant relationship, but with any other relationship as well. Kay mao gyud na diha ang mga maagian niya problema. So and then let's go back to the portion. So swimwear, humana ta sa swimwear. Ari na sadta sa kaning evening gown or the formal gown. I'm sorry, formal wear. Okay, ang lalaki di mo mag-gown. Anyway, what do you think is the significance of the formal wear? Why do you think it is part of the pageant? Di ba? Q&A kayo.
Q&A.
But anyway, kay naman guyuban ko niya, wala, kay na naman gud na siya good, di ba? But nganong gibutang man gud na siya? Nganong naa man gud na siya? Nga sa tanang pwede, nga, formal gown or formal wear man yun. And the formal wear actually is mostly where the Q&A actually happens most of the time. And it is the last part. So why do you think that is? What is it about the formal wear that makes it ang kanang what it is, and why is it included in the pageant world?
Well, okay.
Ikaw una na sa Lars.
Okay, yes.
Puli-puli ta, di ba?
Yes.
Equity man. Okay. All right, go.
Well, for me personally, I think the main difference, what I noticed, starting out as a model, the main difference between being a model and being a pageant king is it's really pageantry is a whole different ballgame. You really have to be beautiful, talented, the best, well-spoken, all at the same time. So I think that's what is being showcased in pageantry, and that's how the formal wear incorporates that. Well, in production number, you can show your personality and maybe your fitness. You can show in the swimwear, and you can also show your elegance and your being more serious, and you could also be respectable in your formal wear. And it's maybe for the guys, but I think for women, it really more so in the elegance and how you showcase yourself, how you carry yourself, and being confident in a formal setting. I think that's for me the what encompasses a pageant. It's really all those things, and that's what's make you a queen or a king.
Kay diri man gyud, actually that's actually one of the reason, no, kabantay ka. Ang evening gown is even mo'y dako nga kanang puntos
Percentage,
or
yeah.
percentage, di ba? Nayuban parihara. But ako yun nabantayan ng evening gown or formal wear yun na mo'y kanang kuan. How about you, Jem? What do you think is the representation of the evening gown or the formal wear?
I would agree with with what Mr. Lars mentioned earlier, because pageant is actually a series of events which showcases your personality. So there's like for the production numbers, so there should be a different outfit for that, like showing the like how you perform, the confidence. And for me, regarding with the formal or the evening gown, that shows how classy the event or how prestigious the event is. And mostly formal. When we say formal, that's where the what do you call that? Pinaka importante ug pinaka
Highlighted of it all.
highlighted.
So,
So and pinaka serious, like that's like for the Q&A.
yeah,
it's
kay murag
serious. You need
serious
to
ang kuan kay
formally,
gi-prep
yeah.
naman ka
Yes.
for the Q&A, di ba? So, okay, so ari na ta sa Q&A.
Wow.
Nga nga ano ning Q&A gid no. Moment, this is the make or break kumbaga ang Q&A. But I have this question nga kanang if you've noticed pageants, there are a lot of kaning mga kandidata nato nga the way they answer is actually mura na siya og kanang number 1, memorize. Number 2, generic. Number 3 is bisag dili siya mao ang tubag sa pangutana. Nya mo'y
Answer.
gitubag. Nya with confidence level.
Wow.
Nya mga tao mabakpak ra ba?
Yeah.
Kay because
English.
nindot pagka urge
English.
mo na siya, but if mamino ka atay pa sa asa dapitan ni igo adto eh. Di ba? Nay mga ingon ana. So siguro naamang good tay mga practices ang uban niya. Memorize na mo na siya basta kani ang question bahala na siya mo na siya iigo. But there are those questions nga you really don't know anything about. So in your honest opinion, honest opinion ha, if you do not know the question and what it is all about, would you still answer it in the generic way? Or would you be honest enough to tell and how would you go about that question without really sounding or kanang mura kang mga awa yun ni siya magkuan o kanang ingon ana ba nga mo ba yes you're honest enough nga to accept. You know, I mean, for me, I would tell the people na, I'm sorry, but I don't have enough information. I don't know much about it. But then, imo siyang tubagon niya in a way nga, but like any other problems, kaya usually mga problema man gid na, ang mga pangutana, issues man gid na siya. And then there are certain issues nga di ka kaybaw, And it's so dangerous nga kung mutubag ka ana nga question, unya, the more na hinuon you're creating fake information,
news,
or
yes.
di ba? So, you have to be kanang kumbaga shared responsibility, social responsibility, responsible enough nga imo siyang tubagon nga honest enough nga wako kay bawa ana ingon ana but kanang siguro just like any other problems ang dapat lang siguro nato buhaton mag-istorya ta, mag-communicate ta, mag-collaborate ta. In anaon ba pagtubag? Are you do you think that what I am saying right now or what ang ako ang pamaagi or ang tirad how I will unsaon ako pagtira kana nga question niya wa ko kay baw, are you going to do the same? Are you amenable to that or would you do it in a different way? Jam.
For me, Miss Glenn, I would like to say thank you, Daike. Actually, I learned from that from you, especially with the personal development that we had last
You're
week.
very welcome.
So, for me, I would answer it honestly. Like, if I don't have any idea about a certain topic, then I would tell that I don't have any idea about it, but I am open to the possible information that I would gain. And I would also try to do my research about that. Because the more I would say something na dili siya tinuod kay, the more ko ma-shatter. So, it would be better that you would tell them honestly because they could feel the sincerity with your answer.
Exactly. How about you, Lars?
Well, in my opinion about that situation, it could really go
Both ways, yeah.
it could really go really well or it could really go so bad.
So bad, yeah.
But for me personally, I don't want to get too technical, but how I would attack that question, let's say something I don't really know about. I mean, for sure you will get context clues. Yeah, that's my technique. I'll get context clues. Well, let's say a random topic that I don't know about, let's say this new project. This question actually reminds me a lot about the build question in Binibini before.
Yeah. Okay. Good check.
It
Okay.
keeps popping in my head, so I just had to say it. So, yeah, but I think for me personally, let's say build. Of course, it's about infrastructure. So maybe you could say things about the government and its projects on infrastructure. Maybe you don't know exactly what build really means, but I don't think it's spreading misinformation if you say your thoughts about infrastructure. So that's how would I attack it personally.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, can you attack it now? If you received that question and you didn't know that time about build.
Build.
Because of course, kita karon
we-
nag-research naman tayo sa
because of that question.
because of that question. Di ba? So, because not everything on the news or in the kanang kuan niya kabaluta kay uy, basa
Of
ng daghan
course.
kay tanan
Yeah.
newspaper every day murag kapoy sad pud baya. So there are things really nga you wouldn't know about.
Yeah.
So if let's just say, okay,
Wow,
Q&A na
okay.
taron. So how would you answer it, Lars? Go ahead.
I don't know. I'm not sure what the question actually was, but I think it was, what are your thoughts on the recent administration's project,
Under
build
Build.
project? Yeah. So I would probably say that I think infrastructure is really a big part of the economy here in the Philippines. So I think it creates more jobs and it creates more opportunities for a lot of people. So I actually agree and commend the government of that time for pushing projects that create that help our economy and make our country prosperous or something like that.
Di ba?
Yeah,
So your way of attacking it is this. You listen to the keyword which was build. So mauna siya actually ang sa Q&A is you really have to listen to the question, and from that question sometimes naadihay mga keywords, and then perhaps use that keyword yung i-generalize mo siya without actually hitting on the specific subject which you don't know about.
Yes,
So mauna siya the way you attack it. But then worst comes to worst, if it's really something I'm like, wa man gyud why keyword, wa gyud ko kay baw ani, then perhaps the pita ka with the sincerity. So
Yeah.
it has to be a hybrid of this. So Jam, na nakaikuan sa iya ha kung how you would do it ha sa iyahang way of perspective. So at least you've learned also that sa kang kuan sa kang Lars. And then going back to the ibutang tang kaning mga different advocacies nato. Ug imo siyang paminawon manggod, mostly murag pari-pariha na ang mga kanang advocacy. With you, it's more on sa friends,
Yes.
being kanang kuan ka sa mga pets. So there are also those na kanang mausad ang ilahang advocacies, alang advocacy rather. So how would you make it uniquely Jam Sanchez?
I would take it from myself. Like personally, I own some pets, so magdepende sa jud siguro, Miss Glenn, if if you love what you're doing and if something na meaningful nimo. Cause with my pets, kay murag my heart beats for them, Jude. Like they're always there for me through ups and downs. They're the most loyal living thing in this world, and I could always attest that. And it's something on how you how you can educate people. And even though magkaparihami, it depends on the experience na lang siguro. Like, based on the experience.
Because I think sad no, ang experience is the best thing that you can
Yes.
actually when you talk about it. Sometimes when you relate it sa imuhang mga nahitabo sa imuhang
It's always coming from the heart.
Oo, niya. Mas meaningful siya because it's something uniquely nga ikaw mo'y
Naka-experience.
experience. So, sometimes the best answer or the best nga imuhang kuan is something that is mirrored sa imuhang nahitabo sa imong
Kay,
experience.
no to fake advocacy ta diri kay kuan.
Yes.
Marong ta.
Mao na diha. Anyway, how about you, Lars? Kaning imong advocacy nga sustainability, how do you make it the Lars Dawson, di ba? Nakakid
Yeah,
diri
wow.
apelido. Dito siya kayo if ko na pronounce. Okay.
Yes. Well, for me personally, how I want to stand out. Well, I don't really necessarily agree on creating a unique advocacy. I mean, I I'm creating this I'm pushing for this advocacy to gather support from other people to inspire them. So why would I gatekeep it to the other candidates who are also pushing for this
For this,
same
yeah.
advocacy? All the better then that
At least daghan
we can
mo.
join
Yeah.
forces because together we can make things happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah. So of course, you want to stand out, make it personal for yourself, because I think if you really believe in that, was what Miss Jam said. If you really believe in that advocacy, and if you're passionate about that, it would naturally flow to you to make it more personal and make it have a stamp of yourself in that advocacy. For me personally, just an example, sustainability is a broad. It's very broad. Well, for me, what I do is I'm in a non-government organization, as what you mentioned, Ganina. It was with JCI, and we create projects that tackle different parts of the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals, and I'm quite glad that we in the pageant space are more knowledgeable about this sustainable development goals. It's not as foreign as what it used to be,
Used to
like
be,
let's
yeah.
say 5 years ago. And I think that's the beauty of pageants. It really has a platform, and it really creates a voice for certain causes and issues that we have in this world.
And the beauty of pageant as yes, no, we have transition, we have transformed it na no kay we're, but I think ang pinakaganahan ako with pageant is trying to despite the fact na kita usa naman gyud ta sa powerhouse no, but with pageant, and then yes, we are embracing the modern, but then there is still that sense of Filipino pride wherein we are still sticking to our traditions. We are still sticking to our culture. We are still looking back at our core values. And I think sa pageant, that's what makes the Pinoy medyo angat sa uban because we are still instilling our own uniqueness in our pageant, even if we are embracing the modern or the transformative or the what is ang iyahang the innovations of pageant na agyud gihapon niya Pinoy gihapon. In fact, kabantay mo sa mga pageant karon tawgon na nila og binibining Ginoong, di ba? So para ninyo, is there a difference calling it Miss, for example, Talamban, Miss Talamban, as opposed to calling it Binibining Talamban? Do you think that there is a difference of those nga binibining siya or Miss ba siya? Nya, kay ang the way it is magud, if you say binibining, medyo malumanay, Filipiniana, di ba? With Miss Manggod, it's more on towards the modern. So do you see actually, even as simple as that, no, ako, I always take it into account because I see a difference on it. But how about you guys? Do you see a difference with it? The use of the word binibining as opposed to using the miss and vice versa. So, Jam, why don't you go ahead?
I don't think there's a difference between the two. It's kung alam ko ro, as what you have mentioned, Miss Glenn, na ang binibini is more on kanang like malumanay na anang pang cute something cute ano ba, for like kanang wala siya kanang additional na mga pasabog or something ano ba, like purely showcasing yourself, Rajud. While sa Miss or sa Queen kay kanang mula gana siya extraordinary, like you need to do more extra, like unlike sa binibini, but nonetheless they are just the same for
The
me.
same for you. Okay. How about you, Lars?
Wow, that's kind of a tough question. I'm not gonna
Oh,
lie. I
it's
was
a
like,
tough, huh?
what's the difference? Well, I think as a business graduate, it's really the trademark and the copyright.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But going back to the question, what came to mind to me is I'm joining Mr. International Philippines right now. So I think it would be a bit weird if it's Ginoong International Filipina. I mean, yeah, it could work, but like it's a national pageant to represent the Philippines for the international stage. So I think it would be harder for the international audience if it's like Ginoong. But it also has a charm. I think it's it's really a double-edged sword. I don't know. It's the same for me.
It's
Yeah.
the same for you.
It's really all about the branding. Because for me, because I also experienced Ginoong Pilipinas. It was really highlighting the Filipino culture and our it was heavily influenced in the Filipino designers, but it also what I realize now, it's also being implemented in the Mr. International space. So it's really just the name and the trademark you wanna push for in when it
yeah.
comes to the words. Yeah.
Yes, because ang ako nakita na it's if ang binibining gamiton murag mo kawit gyud ang kuan ang culture and
Yeah.
heritage. So this is where mostly makita nimo ang mga Filipinianas, daingon ana. With the Miss man good is dili ra ka siya kanang
Mga mod.
modern lang gyud siya ingon ana. But dili sa tanan. But kana mao lang gyud na siya akong nakita nga murag highlight and then focusing more on culture, heritage, and the what you call this one, the uniqueness of the Filipino, but not necessarily. But pag sugod lang yun na niya nga, Miss, dayon na, nagbinibining naman. And then there's, ikabantay man ay binibining Pilipinas na ay Miss Philippines. Ug ang bata na, Tagalog na bitaw ng binibining Pilipinas sa Miss Philippines kanay na ba? So what's the difference? Margin ana usahay sad ba? But then if you really have to look at it, and then there are a lot of pageants sa sitio, sa barangay nga who are using the word na gyud binibining. Kaya sa una Miss na siya, nya karon na binibining na. And then ang slight difference is kanang of course more on the Filipiniana kay binibining even, and then even with the swimwear, dili na siya nga all out na nga kanang swimwear na siya mga tapis-tapis
Na
because
siya
of
mga
course
cute-cute.
naamantay ka ng traditional man ang binibining, so atong incline gamay sa malumanay, that is. Pero eventually it's it's the same. Kana lang gid siya mo na siya ako ang nakita dia dapita mo na siya ang a little bit of difference, but it's still the same platform, it's still the same purpose, it's still the same advocacies nga mora gihapon ang atuang makita, right?
Sa branding lang.
Kasakto sa na siya sa branding. Oh, we have a business person here.
Copyright.
And all those
Trademark.
things. Yeah, so before we move further, special shout out sa nagtanaw nato karon live, si Neil Vibar. Hi Neil, and of course my dear good friend Sandy Grace Image, and of course I would like to say hi and thank you to Honorable Junjun Ferrolino, and of course to my dear friend Roshan Ferrolino of Jules Lechon Manok. Thank you so much guys for tuning in, and for those of you who wants to join us, say hi or have any questions, you can text us at 0999-887-6070. And of course, we are live Facebook and YouTube channel, Tops Media Center. You are listening live here at TMC 105.1 FM, and of course with your host for the Miss with Miss G. And this afternoon our topic is Mr. or Miss with the lovely Jam Sanchez, and of course the very handsome, I should say you're very handsome. Okay, Mr. Lars Dawson, and I really love the family name yun, as in
Jack.
Jack Dawson. I know, right? Okay, so this time, the reason actually why I invited you, because you have upcoming pageant. So let's start off with I didn't say ni Lars. So puli-puli ba? Okay. So your upcoming is the Mr. International. So tell us about Mr. International 2025. What it is, its platform, and everything that it is.
Yes, it's actually the national pageant for Mr. International. So Mr. International Philippines 2025. And it's basically there's 5 crowns, and one of the winners from the previous edition is actually 2 Cebuanos, Dr. Jake Batiancela and RJ Dinolan, who were respectively placed in their international stints.
Oh, congratulations to them.
Shout out.
Shout out. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, and well, for this edition, I'm vying for the Mr. International crown and hopefully represent the Philippines once again in the international stage. Yes, that's gonna be on July 20 at Novotel Manila, Araneta City. Yes, please support me.
Kanisha Lars is, of course, with all the preparations that you have, what do you think is your biggest challenge in your preparations for the Mr. International?
I think the biggest challenge is myself because this is my third pageant, and there's a lot of pressure on me, and especially this year. My year, my 2025 year, there was a lot of big opportunities that came my way. So I don't want to name everything, but it created a pressure on me to perform well, to really set the standard this time around. So I think that's the biggest hurdle that I want to uh, get through. It's really the self doubt, the mental awareness, as what I've said earlier. It's really the thing that I'm preparing most, aside from, of course, performing well.
Yeah, because I think you have that personality now. Once you go on stage, you don't want to create a mediocre out of the stage.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because for me, the stage is sacred.
Mhm.
When I go out, when I host, when I do my thing on stage, I don't want to make a mediocre out of it, because the stage is set for that one. Yes, it may be performing arts, but it's something that it's about you and the stage and how you represent or you transcend yourself on stage. That's why. So I can get ngano nang to put more pressure on yourself.
Yes.
But so far you are in very good hands. Say hi to Mommy Dexter.
Hello, Mommy Dex. Get well soon.
Yeah, I know. Get well soon, Mommy Dex. And thank you so much kaayo sa imuhang kuan sa ako pagpahulaan pa. Yeah, for introducing me via text. I'm sorry, via messenger.
Yes.
Kang Lars. I would have not have met such a wonderful person.
Thank you
Great
so much,
personality.
SG.
Okay? And then of course sa imuha jam, unsa gani na imuhang giapilan pahibaw ang mga tao, kay especially karon nga Pride Month ta. Okay.
So this is for Queen of Cebu City Pride 2025. So this is actually for the whole Cebu. The screening was for the 80 barangays. Then only 20 lucky girls can step to the pageant.
20?
20
Oh,
only.
okay.
So I'm lucky that I was able to.
And for a first timer
Yeah.
at that. Okay.
And I'm happy that I was able to join this prestigious events. And for this year's Queen of Cebu City Pride, this year's theme is overcoming fears and achieving your dreams through action. So it's all about actions, like what you doing is would really it would really matter. And
When is this?
this would be on June 27, this Friday na, at Sawang Calero Gym. I believe it's in Pastel area. I never been there, so actually today is our rehearsal day. So after this, I will go there directly
Yes.
to have the rehearsal.
And this is actually a good practice for you for your
Yes,
Q&A,
for
huh?
Q&A, yes.
Yes.
And then you've
Because
learned
I'm
a
also
lot
building
also.
some confidence, especially in speaking in front of the people. I don't have much confidence, and sometimes
Ma-conscious ka.
ma-conscious ko and ma-block sad ko
Uh-huh.
kanang sa daghang tao ba. So
Daghang
thank you so
tao.
much for inviting me, Miss G, because this is actually one way for me to learn.
And you're
And
representing?
Barangay Talamban,
Of
which
course.
is for Barangay
Wow.
Talamban as well.
Represent.
Yes, represent kaayo. And of course, let me just say this one. You were talking about confidence. You were talking about this as a platform. With Lars, he's a host.
Whoa.
Diba? You're a host sa stage.
Yeah,
So
I just
you're
tried.
comfortable on stage.
Well, during my first few stints in hosting, I was not
You
confident.
were not
Yeah.
confident.
I was shaking.
Mhm.
But
What pageant was this?
the first one I hosted, I honestly can't remember.
You can't
Yeah, I can't
remember.
remember. But I remember the biggest pageant I hosted was Binibining Lapu-Lapu.
Mm.
It was super nerve-wracking for me because I was fairly new in hosting. It was never really my forte.
Mhm.
I mean, thanks to Sir Dex, he was really pushing me for this career opportunities.
Yes.
So it was really, I was so nervous that you tend to say things that I don't know, you're just like
Unnecessary
yeah,
na.
word
Organ
vomit.
na.
I was like,
Mhm.
so I really have to get back to my headspace that just stick to the what you really know and stop adding things.
Yeah, kay the more ka ng storya nga sayop,
Yeah.
the more or daghan, the more sayop it is. So
Yeah.
mo na siya nga stick to sa imuha lang na kanang nahibawan. This is a
Yeah.
very good kanang para sa mga first timer like you. Mo na
For
siya.
me, kay less is
Less is
Less.
more,
More,
and
yeah.
it's you have to look when it's less, it's more, and you look more expensive actually.
Yes.
Kaya medyo mas poised ka gamay as opposed to, but not in this industry because especially when you're hosting, you really have to know how
Yeah.
to talk and to get the people's
Yes,
attention.
that's really important.
Yeah, so sa imuha kay si Jam Mangyod is BPO. So comfortable siya talking nga microphone ra or ang tao ra nga ang iyahang kaistorya nga wala siya makita or ingon ana. So confident level ra siya.
Yeah, yeah.
But ang iyaha when she goes to stage, medyo siya marato siya.
Mhm.
Yeah.
With you, comfortable ka, especially with karon sige-sige na, comfortable ka sa stage. But how are you with radio? Og kanang og siguro ma-BPO na ka or kanang imong katubang microphone na lang.
Yeah, it's
different?
Yeah, it's totally different. I mean, there is the fear of the unknown.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Kana siya the fear of the
Yeah,
unknown.
and it's like it's on social media and it's forever.
It's there.
Yeah.
Unlike sa stage aside.
People can
Yeah, we
forget.
can forget about it and what happened about
Yeah,
it. And but not unless if it's live,
I mean,
of course,
yes, of
yeah,
course.
makita. Pero lahi na, no?
Yeah,
Like
lahi
for
na
me, it's a
dyan.
different shift also with me. Kay, at first, ako, sa stage is, wala ko'y problema. Kaunan akong microphone sa stage. But when I started sa una, with Jiggy, even sa other station,
Yes.
was, matangtay ko niya ako kay istorya microphone ra. Diba? Is with Jiggy also, it's different with Jiggy because he's very comfortable sa kanang so sa radio, he started with radio, nindot kay tingog and everything. But when he started also nga kanang mo host na, lain sa kuno mo ina ni kay daghang nagtan-aw kanay nga ma-conscious ba.
Yeah.
So lain-lain gyud ang kuan sa mga tao. It's about kanang sa practice pod and getting used to it.
Yes.
And but these are things nga kamo eventually with your line of kanang the industry that you've chosen. Okay, I'm sure this is not going to be the last for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, di ba? And then with you also, it will never be the
Hopefully.
last. Yeah. Mo na nga, it's going to be kanang nahug na ni siya og kanang practice. And I'm so glad I'm your first. Oh,
Oh,
di ba?
wow.
Oh, di ba? So at least you have this with me. It's also a chance for you nga ma-enhance more in a different platform. And then Lars, let me ask you this. Medyo segue lang tagamay. There are a lot of people kay you're a with the family name Dawson, so half,
Yes,
yeah, okay. So ang namang uban good nga murag ang ilahang the question would be is representing Philippines and then ang apelido Philippines. Kana
Yeah.
bitaw nga mga ingon ana nga mga pangutana. And then there are people also who would say nga dapat kung Pilipinas, dapat ang ato ang ipa-represent kaning mga kanang Filipino, morena gyud, nga ang apelyido kuan nga to the point nga kanang mga kanang the color gyud ba the Malay race gyud ba. But recently with sa ato ang pageant karon, mostly sa ato ang mga nangadaog sa ato ang mo represent are a hybrid already. Mga mistiso, mga mistisa, mga kanang kuan even ang family name yan ay mga half, mga 1/4% ingon ana.
Yes.
And 50-50 man gyud na. There you can please everybody. There are
Yes.
some who would say nga dapat ang ipa-represent sa Pilipinas kanang kuan gyud kanang pure gyud nga Pinoy gyud ingon ana gyud. So huna sana ako mamangita ta didto og kuan kanang mga Malay race o kanang
Yes.
ana ba. And then kanang dapat dili kuno ingon ana. So what is your stand on this? It's just like the sitio and the barangay level. Sometimes they say nga dapat lumad tagaan ng lugara. Ang mo representar kay mo represent ka anang lugar niya dili ka gyud taga diha di ka lumad kana mga ingon ana bitaw. So what is your take on this? So unahon ti ka Lars kay
Yes.
ikaw may Dawson,
Wow.
di ba?
Yes.
Okay.
I think it's for me. I don't look at it that way. We Filipinos, the Philippines in general, we are a melting pot of different races.
Exactly.
We were colonized with Spain and America after. So I think it's just natural to have mixed breeds. I mean, it's really rare nowadays to find the really pure Filipinos, the Malays, the Aitas, and all. So I think
Mura taga storya iro og iring no. Na breeds ba? Okay, go ahead.
so it's really I think it's quite unfair for us. Even for me, I'm kind of mixed, but I grew up here in the Philippines. I'm Filipino through and through. I was born and raised here. Yeah.
Filipino heart.
Filipino by heart, Jud. So I think it's unfair to misjudge us as not Filipino enough to represent the Philippines. Although I do agree with you on people who are who didn't grow up in the Filipino values, the Filipino culture, who is not even who has been staying here in the Philippines for probably less than 10 years and representing the Philippines. I think that is where I draw the line that it's
Yeah.
kind of unfair na. I mean, I know some people, no shade, but who are representing the Philippines who can't even speak Tagalog.
Exactly.
Yeah, or only speaking English. So I think that's really unfortunate. I think we should be really proud of our language, our culture,
Our
because it's
heritage.
very rich. Yes, we go way back. There's a lot. So I think it's your responsibility in representing the Philippines to really do your research before going on the international stage.
Exactly.
Yes.
Oo. How about you, Jam?
I totally agree with Lars. For me, Sadke, when you join a pageant, there's always a certain requirement. You are not allowed to join the pageant without this, without that. Especially in barangay, there should always be a requirement, like a voter certification that you're really coming from that specific barangay. So it's about the responsibility of the organization and the people to always check the people who always join the specific place properly and kanang kuan. Like they're really coming from their specific kuan.
Yung specific place niya ilang
Places,
representing.
yes.
Okay, the way I see it, Mansagod, is if you're representing the a certain place, a certain country, a certain sitio, a certain barangay, and then you don't even know what's there.
Yeah.
And then what if a question will come up? If I were to go to Cebu, where will you take me and why? So you have to be somebody nga in the know. So nga kaybaw ka. And then what better way to tell a story about a certain place is if you yourself
Experience.
Yeah.
experience the place. So diha dapita at least diha dapita Lars nagka-synchronize ta.
Yeah.
Og diha nga dapat nga bisan tinuglahi imong apelyido but you are Filipino by
Filipino,
heart
yeah.
and nakapuyo ka dinhi ingon ana. It's the same advocacy that we have here at TMC 105.1 FM wherein we are advocating for the local and proud.
Yes.
And then of course no daghan kay mo ingon nga mga Inglesera man kay na inyohang mga kuan diha.
Yeah.
So kami sa town dinhi is we were like, hoy, di kita mo palabig kanang in English magbinisaya sad ta kay
Yes,
aron
yes.
makasabot sad ta. Unya mag in English man ganita because sometimes we can't help it kay I would say ang Cebuanos manggod is unlike sa other nga mga kuano kita nindot man ta in English.
Exactly. Yes.
Would you agree on that one? Nga kanang ang ato ang dila ba dali gud ingon ana og kanang dali ra kay tuwang as opposed to others ang kita mo nindot kita mo in English even to the point nga muratag in English nato maka-adapt din ta muratag British mura sa tag kana di ba
Yeah,
kakuan mo
exactly,
ana
exactly.
so kanang even us here we're trying to tone it down because we want to make sure we reach out to the
Yeah.
locals and we make it uniquely local and proud. And then it's the same thing I think with pageant. And then the same thing that we draw the line nga dapat ang kanang sa pageant kung diha ka lumad ka diha nga lugara embrace na nimo and then let somebody who represent it. Kay sometimes mo man ni siya na makalimtan character sometimes may makalimtan sa pageant. Kay di ba inig judge nimo on the day ang makitaan is the personality on the introduction.
Yeah.
And then the swimwear, and then na yung mga festival wear, attire, and then the Q&A, ngon ana. But you wouldn't really know the candidates. Kaya ang imong nakitaan diha ang sa stage.
Yeah.
Now, would you agree with me or would you not agree with me? Kinsa may nakaila sa mga kandidata gyud? Di ba ang ato ang committees?
Yes.
They are the ones who are there with them almost 24/7 sometimes.
For the duration
the
of
duration
the
of
time,
the time like this and that. And then sometimes ang atong judges they come in during the preliminary. Yang ilang makitaan ang kana ra mga adlaw, kana ra siya. Unsay gipakita sa kandidata anang pagka closed door preliminary og ang on the day. unlike sa mga committees, di ba? They're there 24/7. So kaybaw sila kinsay late, kaybaw sila
Yeah.
kinsay divas,
Exactly.
kaybaw sila kinsay kanang mga bugnotin diha ingon ana. As for me, I always believe that the committee should have a voice and a say on sa ilahang choice,
Yeah.
which emphasizes on the character and attitude.
Mhm.
Because nag-represent maguna na to, di ba? So
Super.
dapat unta
Yeah.
na
Actually,
kana the value.
Miss G, kay part sa mo ang kwan karon ka na yung percentage ang committee.
Oh, that's good because
I
not a
think
lot.
it's
Yeah, even with mine,
40%.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
And for the preliminary kay 40%, so kanang naay part ang committee sa amo ang percentage.
Yeah, same with mine. I think there's a 10% in the percentage of the overall scoring that's org's choice or something like that. Yeah.
Kay well hinuon dili ingon ana sa gyud super kadako no kay ang namo gyud uban gud maingon ba nga ana day na ang nang judge di ay nga nganong appeal man gyud ang committee kung di ka favorite sa committee mingon ana ba
Yeah.
but isn't it the reason why exactly you are joining the pageant? So kung mo join ka og pageant mo join ka ana nga certain, you are subscribing to the committee itself. So unsay rules and regulations sa committee mo follow yun ta, di ba?
Correct.
Kay in respect to them. Kay sila gawin nag-organize. We have a lot man good. Let's talk about being divas sometimes. It doesn't matter ma Mr. We have Mr. nga divas pod. We have, di ba?
Yeah.
We have queens nga divas good nga. Practices late, ingon ana, nga kanang kuan. So I think I'm so glad that you also see that ba
Yes.
nga kanang ingon ana nga dapat good part of it nga character kay inig nanagog ka sa stage on that day di mo gud mo makita ang character ang personality ra man good
Yes.
so but the values that you have unsa ka siya buutan makaning bataa kuan ba ka ni inig magproblema na ka og na raining na
Yes, that was gonna bring that up.
yeah so okay go
Basically, pageants, it's technically a job. So it's like the pageant duration is a job application for the duties that you will be acquiring during your reign. So imagine working for let's say in the organization side, working with a queen or a reigning king that you don't mix or is like a diva was what you've said, Miss G. So you can only imagine the struggle that would be in 1 year.
and then mag-adto sa social media adto mag-away sa social media.
Yeah.
So you know perhaps na ba takay ba unsay nahitabo but it's kind of sad and it's kind of kuan ba luoy kasi ang organization niya mabati na noon
Yes.
niya namo diha nag-away sa social media because there are some things nga kung mahimo ang mga dirty laundry sa ato lang tanang taguan
Exactly.
nga but sometimes because of the different personalities that we have mag-clash niya social media dayon palabad dayon sa social media magstorya dayog bati sa social
Yeah.
media nga pwede ra man unta istoryahan. That's why para sa gid nako is mas maayo gid nga you choose the right person to represent gyud. So that's part of it and that's where it is a character. Kay magproblema naman niya mo when it comes sa kanang siya raining unya diva kay sana ningon ana. And then there's one more factor. I don't know if you agree with me. Would you agree na magoy uban nga pageant nga ilang kontrata nila nga once reigning ka, you are not supposed to or allowed nga
join.
ma-join og kanang lain sa nga pageant. Now, me, I understand this. Kay usahay good, na ubang mga kandidata, bisag asa lang mag-join, bisag asa lang kanang moigo. Unya, ang mahitabo, panahon niya magkinahanglan na, kay ikaw may reigning anang lugara, dili ka maka-show up sometimes
Yes.
because you are, nag-appeal pa ka dito lain nga pageant. Would you agree nga dapat na ingon ana nga clause?
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, yes. Because when you join that pageant, it's somehow like a job. So you need to have your full commitment sa organization. And yeah, because every time they will need you, kay mo na siya like magkakuan sa imong schedule. So it's very important na you have your full commitment with the organization if you will be crowned as the reigning queen.
How about you, Lars?
Yes, same. I think I don't have much experiences with the local pageantry in the Philippines because I don't know, it's not as with the men. So in national pageants, I think it's standard protocol that you can't join another pageant, especially if you're competing internationally. So
Yeah.
I think it's really important that it's specified. I mean, so far in my experiences, it was really we do like we do have a contract signing, and it's really part of the clauses and the rules that you really can't join another pageant for a year as you're reigning. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's more ethical also and more
Yeah.
professional.
Yeah, and
diba?
Aside from that, they would take it as like mura kag downgrade from international, then you will join like barangayan, like something like that.
Kana
So-
sakto sa na siya. And then perhaps kanimo na akong na kuan while nadawat na ka diha sa kana nga pageant. So like for example, Queen of Cebu City Pride naka jam. I think it would also be mas safe ka, and then you're actually mas dili ka stress mentally if you focus lang sa one pageant at a time. Kaya naman there are a lot, diba? There are those nga nag-appeal ka kani nga pageant, ni pagkahuman in between nagsige pag-appeal og lain. Nya ang mahitabo, there are some activities kana nga pageant, for example sa kana imong gi-join karon the Queen of Cebu City, yun ni-appeal kag lain nga pageant, nya mag-abot ang pageant. So you have to choose one.
Yeah.
So, kana diha daan, yeah, the commitment itself, it says about you. It goes back to you sa imuhang values. So, would you agree also nga, kanang dapat, o kanang nakay commitment ani nga for that duration, unahasan na, dili na sana daghan-daghan nga, kanang mga other nga pageants, kaya nagtrabaho pa ka, napaka sa balay, it's kind of busy, and then mukuha pa jud ka, mag-join pa jud ka daghan-daghan.
For me, Miss G is, nakoy mga friends na murag himo nila og bread and butter ang
Yeah.
pageantry.
I was gonna say.
So,
You were gonna say that also.
They
yeah.
always use, they try to join pageant for money.
Mm-mm.
So for me lang, look, if I am being crowned, then I will always have my full commitment to the organization. It's about communication, Jude. I believe communication is really essential. Like you always ask like the schedule ahead of time, because all of us has our own responsibility. I have also family to feed, so I also need to work on to work. So I think it's about communicating with the organization, like the full schedule, because I always can make time for that. So
How about you, Lars?
Yes, so from what I observed, more so in the local pageant scene, there's no really next step, if you would say. Yeah, so once you're crowned, that's it. So I think it would be unfair for the people who are using it as a platform to feed their families or it's too elitist for me, if you would say.
It's too elitist for you.
If you would say na in the local scene that you can you're not allowed to join another pageant. Well, yeah, for me.
Yeah. Kaya mas ako, bisag ako, mas professional, mas maka-focus ko.
Yeah.
And then, it would also give them the impression ba nga, committed ko. I have commitment
Yeah.
for them nga ingon ana. And then, but if something would come up, I think it's a matter of kanang, communication,
Yeah.
talking about it,
Yeah.
understanding about it. So, perhaps giving you a leeway, negotiation,
Yeah,
good, kumbaga, kanang ingon ana, kay perhaps something or an event that you cannot pass up
We cannot
also,
control
kanang ingon ana. But as much as possible when you are that, not to the point nga uban sa jud nga kanang pitong dungan-dunganon tanan nga daghan kaayo like sa usa ka buwan pila ka uok unya kanang unsaon man na nila. Uy, kana bitaw ingon ana. And then also as much as I understand, this is just my standpoint para lang sa nako, no. I respect pageant world so much. I think the pageant for me, whatever people think about it, it's sacred to me as well. Para nako is, kung mahimo nga, do not make or do something nga mabakya ang world of pageantry.
Yeah.
Nga mura na siya ba nga, kanang hunang-hunang nga, pangkuan na lang, pangwarta, pangingon ana. It's hard work, manggod. Pageant
Yeah.
is hard work. So it should be respected that way. Not to the point nga kanabang murag ang dating na nimo ba nga wa na imong heart, it's just about
Money.
monetizing it.
Yeah.
Yun na. I mean, would you agree with me on this
Yeah,
one?
I agree. Yeah.
So how would you tell our kanang mga pageant nga kuan ba about the whole thing? Ano kanina lang. What is your message for our listeners who are going to venture on pageant? And for those who are struggling with pageant, pageant as a total, what is your message to them? So let's start with Jam.
I think to always choose to priority what's really important. Kanang if important mo, like for example you're the breadwinner of the family, so if you cannot commit to an organization, especially the pageantry, so I think you should rather choose kanang unsa ang pinaka prior rather than choosing what you love, something like ang commitment magud kay lisod kay na siya ikuan if di siya kamat og full commitment. So it's better na imong timbangon ang sitwasyon if unsa jud mas una ug mas need rather than joining a competition na you don't have the full commitment.
Kay magsugod ta,
Magsugod,
kinahanglan gyud ato yung
Tiwason
humanon.
gyud nato.
Tiwason gyud nato. Dili nga kanang ni tando na ka, ni ko na kalit ka lang,
Actually.
because it says a lot about you also. It
Yeah.
goes back to you as well.
Correct.
Oo. And how about you, Lars?
Well, I think my message for those who want to join pageants for the males, it's really to choose a pageant that fits you and your values at that certain time. Well, what I mean by that is, well, you might dream of joining, let's say, Mr. I don't know, let's say Mr. International, my pageant,
Sige, go.
but you have zero experience. So I think it would be better for you to join, let's say, Miss Ginoong Cebu or something like that, rather than
Manghod sa anak nga
Oo.
koan. Kasi magdako tong huna-huna,
yes,
no? Alright.
and it creates an awkward position for if you join Mr. International, then you go back to let's say regional level. So it kind of it's you should really choose what you think you could win at that point in your life. I think yeah, that's
Exactly.
what I did. I didn't really join immediately the big pageants, and I started out with what fit me at that point in my life, because I
Sort
think
of a training ground.
yeah, a training
Yeah.
ground. Like, I think that's also important, because if you're in it for the long way, yeah, it's more sustainable.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And then,
Yeah.
ikaw, you're a model,
Mhm.
at the same time pageant. And then you said a while ago nga, different gid siya.
Yeah.
Okay, kani siya, how is it different? Because me, I've never been a ramp model. But
Yeah.
I've been part of the pageant industry. Nag-apil-apil sa kuana sa unang panahon. But anyway, how is it different?
Yeah, it's totally different. I mean, pageantry is a different level of stress and a different level of effort, and it needs a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in modeling, you are basically hired rather than joining a pageant. You are a candidate. You are applying for that job. As what I've said earlier. So I think modeling is kind of easier, although the preparation for being a model, it's more it takes a long while to get to a place where you could consider yourself a really like a successful model. So I think in pageantry, it's a lot of effort at one time, but once you're a king or a queen, it's more rewarding that way for me.
All right. So, Jam, will you invite them for your upcoming laban, di ba? Oo, especially with the June nga Pride Month nato, maghapit naman mag-end pod, no? Yan kana inyo hahapit na sad. So again, invite our listeners and our viewers at the same time.
I would like to invite everyone to join me and to watch me as I vying for the next crown for Queen of Cebu City Pride 2025 this coming June 27, Friday at Sawang Calero Gym in Pasil area.
Yes, okay. So Lars?
Yes, and for me, please do support me through my social media. That's Lars Kent Dawson and at Lars X Dawson on Instagram. For more updates about my pageant, that's Mr. International Philippines 2025 at July 20 at Novotel Manila, Araneta City.
And then you have an upcoming show with Mommy Carrie.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's one of the biggest shows, probably like a highlight of my career. Yeah, the Philippine Terno. That's June 28th, this coming Saturday Yes, at the Waterfront Hotel and
As-
Casino.
And say hi to Mommy Carrie. Hi, Mommy
Yes,
Carrie.
hello, Mommy Carrie. Thank you so much.
And I would also like to say hi to my mommies as well. Mommy Malaika Yamas and Mommy Roy Erwin Tizon.
Yes.
Hi to the team Tizon, of course, the Direct Kevin, and of course, Adi Marie. How are you? And of course, my partner, Carla Super Soft. So before we end, I would like to say thank you so much for taking that time and riding the bus.
Yeah.
The struggle with
Yeah.
riding the bus. But I hope you enjoy it. And then before you go, please enjoy Tops of Cebu.
Yes.
Lars, thank you so much for being here
Thank
and
you
for
so
being a
much.
guest. And I've learned so much, and I'm sure also si Jam have learned so much from
Thank
you.
you so much.
Jam, thank you for taking
you.
this time. I'm sure not you can practice, but you came all the way here and consider this as a training platform for you. Para at least when you're on stage, all you have to do is just go back to sa kanang imong mga na-learn. So I'm sure you've also learned a lot from Lars aside from me this afternoon. And good luck, good luck. Stay beautiful as you are. And of course, Lars, di ako kinahalan. Gwapo na.
I just want to say
Yeah.
good luck to Jam for Queen of Cebu City Pride, and kudos to the organization for creating a platform and an avenue for the trans women in Cebu, for really giving them a platform for this Pride
Yes, our
celebration.
LGBTQIA
Yes.
plus group, all right? Of course, kung nasaan sa iyo, ha? Di ba? May bas-bas
Ulit,
ba?
ulit.
As a pageant newbie, I was able to learn a lot from you,
Yes,
like
thank
the advices and especially the Q&A, like about the context clues.
Oh, context
yeah.
clues, yeah.
Thank you so much for that. And thank you so much, Miss G, for inviting me here.
Yes, all right. And before we end up, let me just give our listeners and our viewers this message. No, in everything that we do, it all goes down and it all boils down to your values, who you are and what you are, and transcending it towards the things that you do. It's all about knowing who you are, getting to knowing your weakness and then turning your weakness, making it into your strength, embracing what you have. It's all about focusing on oneself. And when you are there on stage, because this is what Miss is all about. It's all about the same time your personality development. It's all about pageants and more. It's equipping you and talking about what you need to know about pageants and more. And we focus more on how we communicate. Magstorya lang gud ta kung si Jiggy pa ingnon. Storya lang ta. Yes, natay mga di nimo masabtan sa ako In order for you to understand, you talk to me. Di ta magtinapulan. You ask me questions, then perhaps that is a start and a beginning of a new way of communicating. And with communications, we collaborate. And once we collaborate, we create something more beautiful. And of course, thank you so much to everybody who's listening right now to our TMC 105.1 FM, the most Cebu, here at the Top of Cebu. Of course, we are live from Facebook and YouTube channels at Tops Media Center. And if you have shout outs, questions, or anything that you want to know, just text us at 0999-887-6070. And this has been another, I would say, beautiful day here live at Tops. Wow, nagbabay-babay si Ma'am na nakuan ko gamay hello diha nimo Ma'am. And of course, this has been another episode of Miss with Miss G at TMC Conversation. Daghan kayong salamat and tune in next week. This is Miss G. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. Bye-bye.
Hey, wow. Thank you so much. Ala, nakadungog. Wow.